I've tested thousands of products over the past 8 years. Today, I am reviewing the Sweed Lash and Brow Serum at the same time. We're going to cover these 5 things. These all tie back to my scorecard. Links to everything that I mentioned will be below. This is not sponsored. I have been testing these out for well over 2 months. The reason I'm also talking about both of these is because they are exactly the same formula. One comes in the package with the clouds and has a more stiff applicator. One comes in this package for the eyelash serum. This is a softer, kind of more traditional lash serum applicator. So it's a really soft, very thin brush. They're both $55. You can actually get a bigger size in the lash serum for $80, I believe. So you can have 3 milliliters or 5 milliliters, which is a better deal because you're saving $10, but it has to work in order for it to be a better deal, as we know. Ingredient wise, I break this all down in the scorecard, like I mentioned back on my website. I do wear contact lenses. I have allergies, so my eyes can be a little sensitive, which is going to be important here. Vegan, cruelty free, it's prostaglandin free as well. Wanted to make sure that I didn't have any of that in here. And one of the key ingredients in here is a peptide that stimulates keratin production. I am not a cosmetic chemist. This is not medical advice, but that is what's being used here. And interestingly enough, this pentapeptide 17 is now in a lot of different mascara formulas that I'm seeing, which I'm not mad at all. The brand is fully transparent about what's inside. I'm a big fan of Sweed Beauty in general. I've reviewed and tested quite a few of their products. I really like their mascaras. You can find full reviews for Sweed products. I'll put a couple of them below to kind of give you a head start. In terms of application, I went with the lash serum. So I tested both of these. Like I mentioned, I used the brow serum, which comes in this little plastic container, and it has this tiny little it's not even a brush. It's really just sort of a stick. Where are my words? A less flexible extension of a wand that gets more narrow and you can get it into your brow hairs. I have very sparse brow hairs. I overwaxed in the 90s. I regret it. And as such, I have some gaps. More importantly, though, I just like the thickness and density of the hair, either on the outside and at the arch. It's less about the gap filling in for me and more about the density overall. That's what I really wanted to see with this. I found this applicator to be really tricky. It was too stiff. It didn't get enough of the product on it. This is just a personal call. So what I ended up doing was I obviously wanted to use all the formula in there, but I ended up using the lash serum brush for everything. And I would apply this at night, almost every night. I'll talk about that in a second. After cleansing my face. So fully cleansed face where everything's rinsed off. And then I start on the outer corners of my eye with this applicator. I dunk it back in and then I just basically paint it into the brows. So I was a little bit haphazard with the brows, which I'm going to talk about too, which is where you kind of see some like interesting hair growth happening because I kind of went around the brows. It was exciting, but it showed that things were working. So it's a little teaser for you. This did not go quickly. Sometimes I store them like that. Store them upright. It just makes life easier. But I would have to wait for the product to kind of drip down from the top to get to the very end. And then I would sort of just swipe it all over. It was very not precise for me on the brows and very precise on the lashes. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's how it was for like almost 3 months. Ultimately, application was easy once I found the right brush. It received a 4 out of 5 on the scorecard. So did it fill in the gaps? Did it create lash density? Did it create brow density? Real talk about the before and after. With my before and afters, I would take them in studio light and I felt like it was a little bit off. So I did natural lighting, same time of day, same aperture on the camera. So I made sure that I wasn't changing anything. And I did not have mascara. I did not have eyeliner. In the before and afters that I am seeing, not only on the brand website, but in other places when I was looking at how people were showing lashes before and after. After has eyeliner and more makeup, and it drives me crazy. So I wanted to keep it consistent for you. The density, I think, did an okay job. It got a 3 out of 5 on the scorecard. The brows, I would say it was okay, but I saw more density at the base of the lash line than I did in my brows. And when I was applying it, I think it was hard for the serum to kind of get in there. Probably should have just pressed it in with my finger, but I was kind of being precious with it. So that's just something that if I did this again, that's what I would do. And I might do that next time because I still have more of this so I can keep continuing to use it. Sometimes people on the reviews were saying it took 6 months to see something. With the brows, I didn't see as much density. I didn't see as much gap filling in. It was still subtle on both fronts. But for the brows, what I ended up seeing were a lot of new hairs around the underside of my arch. Formula might have slid down a little bit. It's really hard to see this on the camera, on the still images, but there are tons of fine hairs, except they're not really where I want them to be. So it kind of did its job, but it was hard to get precise with the brow applicator. 3 out of 5, like I mentioned, for density. The other main claim here was, did this lengthen my lashes? As you can see, it's very subtle on the lashes. I didn't want my brow hairs lengthened. I don't want to do like Klingon mode or anything like that with my brow hairs. So I'm mainly looking at the lashes here. The lengthening was definitely there, and it was always more on the outside corner. And there's a reason for that, because my eyes would get a little bit irritated. So I did find this to be a little bit irritating on my lash line. So maybe a few weeks into the first month, I started alternating every other day. I didn't actually have a lot of irritation that way, so it seemed to work better for me. Normally, if it kept continuing on, I would stop the test altogether, but I didn't see a lot of notes about this being irritating out there, and just because it was irritating for me does not mean it's going to be irritating for you. I mainly wanted to tell you that because of the alternating days. So if I try this for 6 more weeks, am I going to see more growth? I don't know, but I will update you. For length, it was there. It was subtle, but it was there. It wasn't non-existent for me, so I got to a 3 out of 5. And now we're just going to kind of wrap it up with the claim checks. Did it follow through on those claims? Because as we know, marketing claims can be a little cuckoo. Score here was a 3 out of 5. The key word that you're going to hear me say throughout this is subtle. The results were subtle. The density was a very subtle change. Lengthening was a subtle change. Claim here is, and I'm reading from my screen, visibly longer and fuller looking lashes and brows in only 4 to 6 weeks. Technically, yes, if we're looking at a subtle increase in fullness and length. So, okay. The bottom line is I expected a more significant result after using it as much as I did. However, I am trying to be fair because it was an alternating day situation. So maybe longer use is going to get me there. I don't know. Total score here was a 13 out of 20. Not the highest score. If you want to look at the other products that I would recommend instead, you can find them back on the scorecard as well. And my final verdict, when I finish this, will I buy more? Probably not, because I want to try other products and I want to see if I can get a better result using something else. So not the worst review, not the best review. Have you tried these? Have you had better results? Do you have a trick that I need to know about? Share your experience if you've tried it, because I don't like to have just an opinion of one over here. Share it in the comments below. Let us know what happened for you. If you found this honest review helpful and you want to keep seeing more of them, you can support the channel by hitting that like button. If you're done digging and looking around, you want to beeline it to my favorites, you can check out my favorites playlist, or you can see all my favorites out of everything I've reviewed. These are the products I would buy again and again under Britt's picks back on the site. I'm going to go test out some more lash serums. I'll see you right back here real soon. Until then, bye.